Susan, is we're both motivational coaches now. But I
Yep.
remember you when you weren't a coach. And I remember some of the challenges that we had, probably similar challenges that we had at that time, with people around us, some family members or whatever. And we both, have come from a background of just personal challenges, you could say, and how we've both used coaching, our coping mechanisms that we've learnt to overcome these. And that's why I chose the question tonight, for people is, can we change? Can we change the way we think and reprogram for success? And to me, you're a witness of that. And you can change. You have changed. And I think we need to encourage others. And so tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing now.
Yep, as you say, Derek, I've totally changed my life about 100%. From, I don't know, how far do you want me to go back? How long have we got? Um, Lots of challenges in life, from a very turbulent childhood, to usual stuff through adolescence, bullying, misuse of alcohol, all of these things, teenage pregnancy, more just using coping mechanisms that you kind of learn behavior really, through not all of my life, that's for sure, but alcohol has been very dominant in my life, 100%.
And when you think about all the sort of bad stuff in the press over the years with alcohol and drugs, and that's why I did a blog post this week on alcohol and mental health and drugs and mental health, and people can see that on my blog on the Happy Medium page. Because I think, I'm guilty like anyone else. I was feeling down, going to have a jam, going out with a bottle of wine, and you get into that habit, and you don't realise how much damage it's doing. And in moderation, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but some people just can't have that one, And if you're drinking and you're happy, you never seem to get drunk. But when you're unhappy, or the other way around, when you're unhappy, one isn't enough,
Yeah,
And I think that's what, when you think about the COVID situation and lockdown just now, that's what's been happening. And people are maybe turning to drink or whatever because of the situation we've been in for the last 2 years, Susan.
Mm-hmm. I think there's always the people that maybe have turned to alcohol more during this COVID period have had the tendencies there anyway. Definitely. I think these things they go a lot further back, I think. I definitely learned that that's the way you dealt with life. That's what happened. I was speaking to somebody the other day about this, and it's if life was tough, what did you do? You turned to drink. If you're having a stressful day, to relax, you have a drink. To celebrate, you have a drink. Everything is like, do you know what I mean? It's Christmas, so you have a drink. It's birthdays, you have a drink. You don't have to celebrate using alcohol. You don't have to use it as a tool for everything in life. I could start with that one. I could go on for a long time talking about this one, Derek.
So what was the point or the time in your life that you said, I'm going to do something different?
I think for most of us, there comes times where if you're not in a good frame of mind and you go out and you get drunk and shit happens and you wake up, you're like, oh man. We've had conversations of certain situations. Wasn't drunk that night though. But definitely one last blowout. I had turned to alcohol definitely as a crutch. After my daughter's partner had completed suicide, and circumstances, environment, can't blame anyone else. I'm an adult. I chose to lift the glasses to my mouth, but I was drinking every single day, and drinking a lot at the weekends. So that was my life for probably about 4 years, really. And then it just took one last drunken, horrible episode, and that was that. It was like enough was enough. I was sick of living that cycle. I was sick of, as I shared today on my Facebook, it's that merry-go-round. You think, suffering from depression and anxiety and all of these things, and you think alcohol is going to make you happy, and for that split second it might, but if you're like me and you can't just go and have one or two drinks, it's not. It's not. And it makes things worse. It heightens your depression. It'll heighten your anxiety the next day. I think for a lot of us as well, drinking to feel more relaxed when you're going in social circumstances, isn't it, as well? So, yeah, enough was enough for me. I was getting too old. My son wasn't happy with that. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't the person who I was. That's not who I wanted to be. That's not who I felt. I felt like I wasn't living my life. I wasn't in line with who I was.
And it's getting that, when you're in that sort of state of mind, and you can understand why people go and do the negative thing or go and take, and this is why I always said for the last 20 years that alcohol and drugs and all that is an illness. Addictions is an illness. And, it should be treated like every other illness. And there is complications around that. And, I'm quite passionate about that. And I think when in real life, when we actually start changing that and we start seeing the positives, because we could write a book on all the negatives, but it's the positives, and we don't often talk about the positives. And I remember when, I was down there, single parent, had the kids, stressed out, the usual single parent stuff. And then the Friday night, let's go into town for a while, let's escape, let's get a babysitter, the same pubs, the same people, same situations every week. And nothing changes. And then, we would try the mountain bike and do something different. You meet different people, you get into different habits, and you learn more. And what a beautiful place that I lived in then, and you're still living there. And you realise there's more to this beautiful place than the Friday night at the Crofter, for example, or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I had some really good nights out and met some lovely people at that time. But when you start mixing with people, and then I got involved with the football club, and more young people and educating, and I was doing more life coaching and stuff, and I started taking my own advice. And I think once you start taking your own advice and learning to say no, Susan, was the big thing.
100%, isn't it? Definitely. As I shared today as well, it's you have to be open and honest with yourself as well, don't you? You have to look and realise what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? That there is another option out there. There are other things to do. Do you know what I mean? Not being scared to go and do these things as well, Derek, isn't it? Instead of living in that wee bubble that you think, is life. There's so much more outside that. So much more. And like you say, once you start doing these things, you meet other people who have different lifestyles, who don't live in that mentality. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing anybody. I've been there as like you. I've had many, many great nights, made many, many friends, just not for me anymore.
Right, and it's when you start going up path and how addictive it becomes and how more alert you become. And also you get a period where the guilt kicks in of what you've done, what you've forgotten about, what you've took for granted, and it's the what ifs. And it's like, it's like my brother, when my brother died, we're both young guys. And it's like, what if we did that? What if I listened? What if he did that? What if he didn't do that? And people don't talk about the what ifs. And it's like how damaging that can be to yourself. And what we've got to start learning to say is, it's what was, it isn't now. And it's coming back to the now. And that's what I love, seeing the little videos of you doing the cold water dips or the weightlifting. Because I just remember this long-haired girl, used to meet in the pub now and again.
Party, life and soul of the party.
That's it. And I look at you now, and you made me proud, and I think you made a lot of people proud, and you've turned a few eyes, but you're now a coach yourself,
Mhm.
So what advice would you give to people?
It's not easy, Derek. Do you know what I mean? It is absolutely not easy. And I am a very, very open and honest coach. I'm not going to pretend to people that it's going to be easy. And, once you start to change your life, it's going to, miraculously all happen and somebody's going to come along and do it. As I said earlier, you have to be honest with yourself. As I shared today, and I spoke to somebody else about this. I think when you want to change, Derek, you have to let's start learning to love yourself.
That's the
That's the
key.
key. That is the absolute key. And once you start learning to love yourself, then it all comes. It really, really does. It's that for me is learning to love yourself. That's got to be the key to any change. And it will heal a lot of wounds that you've got if you've picked them up over the years. It's amazing the amount of people who I know and I'm coaching that they would never think to look in the mirror and tell themselves that they love themselves.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they don't do it and they feel so awkward to do it. But
Yeah.
this is one of the key things that I learned to do when I was changing my life, and that's what I had to do. You have to learn to forgive yourself. You have to learn to love yourself. All of these things. That's key, first and foremost, I think, for any change.
I think that's the biggest key is, we'll have to come back to it. Comes back to you. It comes back to you as in the soul, and sometimes the mind's in a different place, right enough, but it comes back to
Exactly.
taking that breath and saying, "Am I happy?" And you often you say, "Well, I might be happy in the public," which I was, and that's why I got the nickname of Happy Medium. I was always smiling, but sometimes I wasn't. I
Exactly.
was and I was frightened to admit I was not happy. And sometimes I went through counselling and whatnot. And I don't regret that because training to be a counsellor, I had to get counselled.
Mhm.
And you say, I don't, it's like typical man, I don't need this shit. Was I wrong? Yes. It's like, and then you get a chance to talk. So I think one of the biggest healing things for me is talking.
Mhm.
And I
Totally.
think have the right people to talk to as well. And the biggest tip I can give to people is choose your friends wisely who can listen, and you can listen to them as well. And that's how it should be. And with all this isolation over the last 2 years, we've got out of the habit of listening. You
People
know,
don't know, do they? And this is one of the things, obviously, with doing the peer-to-peer support and stuff. You have to listen. People are just too quick to reply. They just, and they're not actually listening to what someone's telling them.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And I think it's I'll maybe share this to the Happy Medium page, the link, because I'm forgetting that people are sitting waiting for us on the Happy Medium page. But I'll put that on. But I think it's, one of the things I've learned, and when people coming in to the office here in Elgin, and we've had people coming in who are very low and suicidal, and things trigger that off. And very often, it's not that they're depressed; it's that they maybe can't get to see the doctor, they maybe can't get to, like a noisy neighbour next door, and it's just driving them nuts.
Mhm.
There's never a right and wrong. You know what I mean? When people start drinking or taking drugs, the triggers, we can work on the triggers. And once you figure out the triggers, you got to the root cause. And it
Yep.
takes time, you know? And I
It's
think
that
that's
healing, Derek, isn't it?
it's that,
Definitely. You've got to heal. It's that catch-22, isn't it? And
yeah,
obviously, where people get support now, it's you have to stop drinking before you can go and get the help. But you
yeah,
need the help to heal so that you'll stop drinking.
yeah,
And I think that's key as well for anything. In my opinion, and from my story, it might not be for everybody. Everybody's
yeah.
different, and they've got their own issues and their own traumas and their own triggers. But for me,
Mhm.
to heal, yeah, absolutely heal myself, my wounds. And as I say,
And it's, and you've done marvellously. And I think the fact that you're helping women, especially, I think that um, sometimes and I've had this experience with women who've been abused or in abusive relationships because of addictions or whatever. Um, got that support or they're frightened to ask for that help. But there is a lot of help out there, and if anyone is in that situation, if you go to my website and click on the links page, there's loads of organisations there that I actually work with as well, and signpost people to. But you can always change and always ask for that help, and that's what I've learned over the years as well. Is because there is help out there. You might have to look for it, and you might have to ask for it, but you don't have to stay in that negative space. You know, and it's like even that walk along the canal when I was stressed out with the kids, it used to be fantastic. And you start noticing things that you didn't notice before because you were so busy in your mind. And we're all guilty of it. And when you're walking along, and Fort William's a beautiful place, but when you're there and you're down, you don't see the beauty it has.
You don't. You definitely don't. Everything, when you're depressed and you're in that negative frame of mind and that whole, for whatever's going on with you, for me, yeah, everything was dark. Everything just, your head's down, your shoulders are down, you don't want to see anybody, don't want to speak to anybody. You know, it's just that whole, it's like that big black cloud, isn't it? You know, the video of the black dog. Do you know what I mean? It's like the big black cloud just follows you about, doesn't it? And then, as you say, once you do start changing, once you start taking and doing the positive things and finding the healthy habits, it lifts, and you have a completely different perspective on life and the world around you.
And it's like you start having that positive thoughts. It's like, yeah, well, maybe I could do this, and it's like the maybe, or somebody said I should do this. You know, I should go in that work. I should get that bike. But that's somebody else telling you, right? But when you start saying the word could and can, it's a totally different energy because you're saying it, not somebody else. So when I say somebody coming in to me saying, "Oh, Derek, I should do this. I should go and lose weight. I should go to the gym," well, who's telling you to go? Because you don't have to go to the gym straight away. You don't have to get the expensive gear straight away. It's like, don't get me wrong, I love my expensive gear now and the proper gear when I'm out and about, and some of it's still sitting in the drawer from 2 years ago. But and it does help, but that's because I've chose to get it. You just have to take a walk or do something different, and that's the main thing, you know.
I think when you're talking there about the fancy gear and stuff like that, when I started obviously training and I found CrossFit and stuff like that, and I was running anyway, and I took the plunge and went and done the wee try. I think you've done it too. You know, I didn't have the fancy bike. I had my dad's old bike from about, I don't know, 20 odd years. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't have the fancy trainers and the running gear and the swimming and the goggles and all that. You know, it's once you start to get that little bit of confidence and just shutting out the noise and shutting out what other people think of you as well, you know, and just do it and learn to do it with the tools that you've got, whether it's no equipment, whether it is equipment, you know, it's learning to do it. Just go and do things. Do it. Absolutely. Don't sit and wait for other people to come along and do it with you or take you to do it, or do you know what I mean? Life's too short. It's far too short.
I think you're right, and it's just get the that's the wrong one. Just get the here we go. There's your coaching details, and I know you've got an Instagram page there, and you've got your so people who want to come on and see you in a more professional sense, how do they do it? How do they get in touch with you?
Either my Facebook or my Instagram. Absolutely can send me a message and I can absolutely have a chat with them.
And when somebody comes in to you, you know, and they've been through the mill and they've got that fear, right? And how do you relate to that person? Because there'll be people out there saying, okay, right, Susan's done it, right? I'm ready to do it myself, but there's that fear. Because I don't think you're a fearful person. It's like, even when I see you don't go where, but it's like people still have that fear. So how do you encourage people to come and see you when you're there?
So, Derek, I'm confused there. What you mean? People are scared of me to come and approach me?
People are scared of coming in to make that gym, for example. Right. What's difference in your coaching? Because you're a fantastic coach and you've had a lot of success already. So I want to highlight that because it's easy for those people who just train, be a coach who've not went through anything. When we've got life experience and then we go and do something, change our lives, it's more powerful.
Absolutely. I think that's the key though, because I share my journey so much on my social media pages, people can relate to me then. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one of these people, and I never will be. I'm not going to be sharing photos of people in their underwear and stuff like that. And as I said to somebody yesterday, it's for me, as you know, it is more than just that whole aesthetic body image things. I'm there to help and encourage people to gain more confidence and step out their comfort zones and stuff like that, And I share, I'll share my stories with people that do reach out to me. I had conversations yesterday with a couple of ladies that came to see me, a mum and daughter, and talking about a little bit about my story, and they're sharing their stories. So it's, I think naturally it is happening, Derek. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I will share certain things about come to enjoy my program and stuff like that. But I think because I am open and honest.
I think that's your selling point. It's a unique selling point. The honesty and integrity. And hopefully that's what mine has been over the years, because that's been one of my core values, is the integrity. And I always say enlighten others to succeed through life's challenges, because life is a challenge.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing. You've got to realise that life's always going to be a challenge, isn't it? There's always going to be something that's going to pop up. And this is where learning the tools helps us to deal with these things, doesn't it?
And speaking about tools, when I created a membership site, and it's through the Patreon kind of service. And what I've done is put you can imagine, of 10 years of doing this, I've collected a lot of data, a lot of good stuff, and a lot of guides I've written myself or copied from someone else and written. And I've put them into one page with little videos. And I watched some of them. It's going back as I was transferring some of them. I've been watching some of the older ones, and it encouraged me to say, well, listen to my own voice again. And you can join. People can sign up for some great benefits there, and it's a very little a month, and it means I can specialise and help these ones that sign up, because you'll get the people saying, "Oh, he's just a happy medium. He's the psychic guy." Yeah, I've got that gift, but people forget I was 20 years offshore, single parent, been a life coach longer than I've been a psychic medium, and I've been a counselling for years in life experience, and also hypnotherapy. And people forget that side. And yes, we'll have fun, and a lot of my stuff is entertainment based because we do live shows. But even not being able to do that live shows, not even have the critics and the skeptics come, actually made me quite depressed and low for a while, because I wasn't having that group audience, because I love sharing my story. I'm a people person. And it was hard to adjust to the being quiet. And I had to go back to some of my old notes and saying, the coping strategy, the CBT, what else can I do? What else can I learn? Because we all went through that. And some of us are still going through it, Susan, aren't they?
Absolutely. For me, first COVID, because I was so very conscious of the whole lockdown, and obviously I'm volunteering for MindFit. I was a carer, as you know, and I was caring for my parents, and I was just caring for everybody by myself, and I had to stop because I kind of had a bit of a meltdown, burnout, and take stock and think, right, wait a minute, actually, I'm giving people this advice to do this, your gratitude, your journaling, exercise, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. I've got all the tools if you need them. But I wasn't putting them into practice because I was too busy trying to help other people with them and share all that. But you have to take stock, and you have to make sure you're looking after yourself as well when you're dealing with other people, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's the key. We have to look after ourselves. And looking after ourselves is not like eating a lot of nice cakes and stuff like that. It's nice.
I know,
and I don't deny that.
I
don't deny it. I think we should never deny ourselves of things. And I always say to people, who want to say, come for hypnotherapy, and they would say, I want to stop eating chocolate. I says, well, we just remove the word chocolate, and we just say, well, we're going to eat healthily. And we assume that We're already doing that. We're already, of course, we're eating healthily. That's what I say to people. Of course, I'm eating healthily. Even though I've not been, I have been now, and I've been plant-based diet in the last 3 months. And I thought, we used to slag off these vegan people. They're terrible people. And then I did a bit of research, and then I watched some videos, and I thought, is that what's in my food? It's like, and I started. I'll try it because I'm diabetic, and I've had some mega issues with that. And I'm feeling probably the best I've felt in a long time because I've been 3 months without dairy, without meat and everything. Now, do I still like meat? Of course I do. Do I still miss chocolate and eggs? And of course I do. But I don't have the cravings for them, which is unusual. So it makes you wonder.
Aye, I think your body adapts to it as well once you start changing it. I'm actually at the moment not eating as well as I used to do. I'm not training as much, but when I started training as much, my body would naturally want all the goodness, all the things. It kind of went hand in hand. I knew mentally that I needed the good nutrition to fuel my body, but also that's what my body craved as well. And it's the habits. It is totally habits. You're used to just sitting with your glass of wine, a bag of crisps or whatever. Do you know? I do. I definitely think, and I think your body changes as you get older, and it goes through cycles, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think we get probably wiser as we get older as well because we can't have that drinking dram and, stay sober. It's
Well,
like, it's just,
it comes back to that whole, life's precious and life's, very short. So you're going to start to want to look after your body, especially when you do start getting older and you think, oh shit, time's gone far too fast. We better start looking after this engine.
and I think that's the biggest message we can do tonight. And we're speaking to you, Susan, is that we can change and people can change. And I have a lot of faith in people that they can change their lives to a better life. Or even if you're having a good life, you can wish for better, even better.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what you ask yourself the question, if you're hanging on to something and see you've got a niggling pain, right? I say to people, ask your body, is that mine or somebody else's? You know? And it's like, because 80% of our emotions come from something else. It's like, and if you're working with negative people and you're in a negative job, and as soon as you leave that job, you go, how did I put up with that for 10 years? And I've had people come in because we get used to it, we get conditioned, we get kind of brainwashed, we have the learned behaviours which can come from someone else.
Yeah.
And when we start realising that's not really me, it's like, that's someone else's. It could be our fathers, it could be our mothers, it could be whoever brought you up, your school teachers,
Yeah.
your influences when you were younger. And when we come away from that and we say, well, I'm going to learn something different, then you get excited. Then you get kind of addictive. So I got addicted to the mountain biking, as you know. And I just loved it and did the wee triathlons and swimming and stuff. And I was 45, I think, when I started all that. Never looked at a bike when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm missing it now because I'm in Elgin, but we're going to get back into it. And excited about that as well, the spring coming in.
Do
And I
you
think
get back into it? Exercise is very, very, very important, Derek.
it's that you can have me put it off and all that. But once you take that first step, it gets very addictive.
Totally.
And it's a
You have
different
to
type
take
of
that
addiction.
step. It's always the first step's always the hardest, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's the message that me and you can put out because people know it, and it's probably better that it's on my personal channel because a lot of my 3,000 personal and business people on my own
No
Facebook
pressure,
page.
right?
But what we'll do is we'll turn this into a YouTube video, and we can use that because we've shared a lot of experiences, and maybe that's why the spirit wasn't allowing us to put it on the Happy Medium page. And we don't have people asking for give us a card, Derek, because that's not what tonight was about.
No.
But, and we can share our experiences, and hopefully we can iron out all these other things for something in the future. But one of the things I want to kind of finish with, because I know you've been in the gym, I know you're down to get your tea and all that, is if there's one thing you could say to people, right, this week, just now, this situation, what would it be? Positive.
Um, what would it be? Believe in yourself that you can do it. Learn to love yourself. That's more than one thing, isn't it? Absolutely. Believe in yourself. It's one of the things where we are with my program and stuff. It is giving people that belief in themselves. If they don't believe in themselves right now, I try and get them to take my belief in them.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And just getting
and it'll get better. Whatever situation you're going through right at this moment in time, it will get better, and it can get better. Something I said the other night, sorry, in my meeting was with the MindFit meeting. Obviously, it's volunteer and that's not my job. But it's the same thing. It's if I could, where I am in my life now, if someone's going through a hard time, is swapping places with them.
Mm-hmm.
To see if that actually this is where I was, and that you can go, you can get there. Just you have to believe.
Mm-hmm. And I really had to take my hat off to you. I think one of the things I would say to people just now is you're never alone. You're not. And it's like, in a spiritual sense, you're not alone anyway.
No.
Because I point upstairs and people know that side of me, and you're never alone. But the best friend you can have is yourself.
Yep.
And I think that's what you found. You found yourself.
100%. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I think I told you about when we done the chakra meditation with one of the girls, Kerry. And it was the lilac-y purple thing, and that was super strong. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And she's like, that's because you're in tune with who you are.
Yeah, that's it. And the lilac purple, third eye, and it's into the kind of bringing that through, the positive energy. So when I think I kind of, hello Tommy, there's a few people that have logged on, me and McLeod and Catherine, there's a few there, but not the normal high numbers because we're not on my channel because for some reason it wouldn't stream to it. But we'll turn this into a YouTube video, and we'll put it out for people to listen to, and hopefully it can encourage others to do as we've both done in a sense. But I want to say I'm really proud to know you and see what you're doing now. And I will encourage anyone to support anyone that's on a path of positivity.
Absolutely.
No. Because we've all been there and done it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're all, I think, it can be yourself when you're in that, you think you're just alone and you're the only person that's going through all this. And as you say, talking, and you're not alone. People do have a hard time. Don't compare your life to what you see in social media. And this is why I'm honest all the time about I'm having a shit time, because there's far too much, and it has to change, the whole social media stuff and media. This whole fakeness that's going on. It's nonsense. It's so toxic.
Yeah, I think it's one of the tips I say to people is don't watch the news in the morning. Watch all that stuff at night when you put your feet up and laugh at it.
Don't watch
Because
telly.
if you start off with that, it ruins your day.
Don't watch telly. Don't go on your phone first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Don't scroll on social media. I'm going to give you a list of tools. There's the wee thing that I share on my page as well, is how to start your morning. You're probably a bit similar to me. You get up in the morning, stretch. You have your gratitude journal. You do your meditation, set your intentions for your day, drink your water. Slightly probably different variations depending on where I am in the morning. I normally like to start stretching before I even get out of bed. Have a smile. Do you know what I mean? One of the biggest things that helped me was learning gratitude, Derek. Definitely a gratitude absolutely can change your everything, relationships, jobs, your life.
And that's it. It's
actually practicing gratitude. Yeah.
And that's about love as well, when it's giving gratitude to what we've got in our lives. And, sometimes when we're looking for that, and you're going about the law of attraction, and it's like people, they want that lottery win and all that sort of stuff. And I think about the finance stuff, but they're forgetting about, if you resonate love and say, I want more love in my life, and I want financial security, which will bring the love as well, and changing the words, because words are really important. And
absolutely.
I think that's where we've taught people that, I had somebody came up from Fort William and seen me here, and compared to Fort William, I said, "Oh, this is amazing! Come really far." but the pain to get there, it's been a journey, and we learn as we grow. And, success comes with hard work as well. It's not just a case of visualizing that happens. You can visualize the end, work backwards. So I always say to people when they're setting a goal, right? And if people laugh at me when I say this, don't start here and think forward. You've already achieved it. What do you do before you achieved it, the final dream? And work backwards, then go forwards.
Absolutely.
And then it's all about the plan.
Totally. I think the thing is with your goals as well, Derek, mine have obviously changed over the last 5 years, coming up 6 years of changing my life. Do you know what I mean? You can have your goal and your journey might go off another wee directions. Obviously I wanted to help people so much, but I knew I had to help myself first. And then I thought it was going to be down a CrossFit road, and then that's not going to be how it was. And then I'm going on this other job, and doing the mental, obviously helping with mindfit, and then the mental health and exercise thing come in, and that's my two passions. And that's why I ended up doing the mental health and exercise coaching, both my passions in a qualification. And that's, finding your passion as well, isn't it? Helps with get to your goal.
That's it. And I think that's the main thing. Is the passion and being passionate about yourself. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll turn this into a bit of a YouTube video, Susan.
Okay,
and,
cool.
I'll speak to you in a wee minute, but we'll say bye to everybody out there just now. And thanks for listening, guys, the ones that are listening out there.
All two.